Dr. Suchitra Singh from Head and Neck Surgery, AIMS, New Delhi. And the topic is salivary microRNA as potential biomarker during microbial change in people exposed to tobacco chewing. Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. My presentation is on salivary microRNAs, their utility as biomarker during changes in tobacco users versus tobacco non-users. Just a quick background about the oral cancers, which happens to be the sixth most common cancer worldwide, with the prevalence being highest in India. Despite an easy access for visual examination, oral squamous cell cancers is often detected at a very advanced stage, which results in reduced patient survival or a very high morbidity. An early diagnosis of oral cancer is important as it leads to an early institution of the therapy that translates in a better prognosis, and a late detection or a diagnosis is directly proportional to an increased morbidity and mortality. The data which shows that a 5-year survival rate in oral squamous cell cancer drops drastically from 80% in stage T1 to 20 to 30% in stage T3 or T4, points to the same importance. This observation clearly indicates the urgent need for early detection methods for increasing the long-term patient survival. So although there are numerous invasive diagnostic tests which are available to diagnose cancer after the appearance of the malignant lesion, the invasive nature and the non-specificity of these tests demands the provocation of a non-invasive, specific and sensitive marker for the early diagnosis of the disease, or to screen the high-risk population for oral squamous cell cancers. So dysregulated expression of miRNAs is known to affect the cell growth and can function as either tumor suppressor genes or oncogenes in various cancers. There are several studies that have already validated the presence of these microRNAs in saliva and their potential as a non-invasive biomarker in oral cancer detection. These microRNAs are small non-coding RNAs which are 18 to 23 nucleotide length molecules. They are very stable chemically and can be detected in tissues, serum, plasma, saliva, urine, and feces. They mostly act through the inactivation of the complementary sequences. So through this study, we had aimed at studying whether the tobacco exposure can also cause an equivocal change in these miRNA profile in people who are exposed but not yet have developed any clinical evidence of the disease. So our study aimed at identifying the specific miRNAs which may be responsible for the molecular changes which ultimately result in the formation of a carcinoma, thus identifying the high-risk group. It can pave a path towards identifying the high-risk group in tobacco users who are at a greater danger of developing the head and neck squamous cell carcinomas. These miRNAs can be potentially used as biomarkers to detect early stage diagnosis of oral cancer and lead to the development of miRNA-based cancer treatments and therapies. So the objective of my study was first to analyze the expression of microRNAs 9, 21, 134, 136, and 191 in the saliva of both tobacco users and tobacco non-users. Second was to correlate the levels of these salivary microRNAs 9, 21, 134, 136, and 191 in tobacco users versus tobacco non-users for the utility as a diagnostic biomarker during these pre-malignant molecular changes in both the groups. The methodology was, it was a preliminary prospective non-randomized comparative study which comprised of 100 participants, 50 in each group, and the study spanned a duration of 2 years. We had recruited the subjects from among the patients who attended the ENT OPD for non-oral cavity-related pathologies, who gave consent to be a part of the study and were in the age group of 18 to 60 years. For tobacco smokers, we had included people who had smoked for at least 1 pack year, that means either 20 cigarettes or BDs per day for 1 year. For tobacco chewers, we have included all those people who have chewed at least 2 pouches per day for 6 months or more. We have excluded people with presence of any major systemic or local medical illnesses like diabetes mellitus, hypertension, tuberculosis, liver diseases, inflammatory conditions, or any autoimmune disorder, but because that would interfere with our miRNA levels. Those who did not give the consent for participation were excluded, and those were excluded who had any history of previous any oral cavity pathology, either benign or malignant. In saliva sample collection, unstimulated whole saliva was collected 8 ml within 30 minutes of oral rinse and was subjected to centrifugation. total RNA extraction was done through an miRNA-EZ kit, and the quantitative real-time RT-PCR was done, where the cDNA was synthesized from RNA by using the microRNA transcription kit, and a was performed. Coming to the results for the objective 1, where it was to analyze the expression of these microRNAs 9, 21, 134, 136, and 191 in the saliva of both tobacco users and tobacco non-users. We have used the expression of MIR39 in these samples, which acted as a housekeeping microRNA, which was used for calculating the relative mRNA expression of other microRNAs. So we saw that relative microRNA expression of MIR134 and 136 were found significantly lower in saliva of tobacco users as compared to tobacco non-users. The expression of MIR21 and 191 was found to be significantly elevated in saliva of tobacco users when compared to tobacco non-users. The expression of MIR9 did not show any significant difference. As we can see, this has been tabulated in this table. MIR9 did not show much difference in both the groups. MIR21 and 191 was significantly elevated with a p-value of less than 0.001 when compared between the two groups. MIR134 and 136 was low. It was decreased in tobacco users as compared to non-tobacco users. Again, a p-value of less than 0.004 for MIR134 and less than 0.01 for MIR136. So we see that all these 4 MIR levels, 21, 191, which were elevated in tobacco users, and MIR 134 and 136, which were decreased in tobacco users, had a significant p-value between the two groups of tobacco users and tobacco non-users. Coming to our second objective, which was to correlate the levels of these microRNA levels for their utility as potential diagnostic marker for detection of pre-malignant changes. We can see the box whisker plot showing the relative miRNA expressions, where we can see there is no significant change between the two groups when we compared MIR9 levels. But on expression of MIR21 and MIR191, we see a significantly elevated levels of these miRNAs in tobacco users, whereas MIR136 and MIR134 was significantly decreased in tobacco users. When we see the area under curve for an ROC, that is a receiver operating characteristic, we find that the sensitivity and specificity for miRNA 191 was maximum, followed by miRNA 21 and then 134 and 136. miRNA 9 had a very less sensitivity and specificity. This again in a tabulated manner, where we can see that the sensitivity of MIR 191 was 83.33 and the specificity was 80%, followed by MIR 21, where the sensitivity was 76.67 and a specificity of 76.6%, followed by MIR 134 with a sensitivity of 70 and a specificity of 66, and MIR 136 with a sensitivity of 63 and a specificity of 66. So we have determined the expression profile of 5 miRNAs in a group of Indian patients and provided a strong evidence that the levels of tobacco usage and the miRNAs associated with this tobacco usage are significantly different from those in normal patients. We wish to distinguish between tobacco user cancer and non-tobacco user healthy individuals through this study. In this maiden attempt to understand the role of microRNAs in molecular changes caused by tobacco, we have found significantly higher expression of microRNA 21 and 191 in saliva of tobacco users when compared to tobacco non-users with no apparent mucosal lesions. Our assay showed significantly higher salivary levels of microRNA 21 and 191 in tobacco user patients. We have also found microRNA 134 and 136, which were downregulated in tobacco user patients as compared to controls. MicroRNA 134 and 136 are known as tumor suppressors in numerous human cancers, exhibiting an inhibitory role in tumoral angiogenesis, cell growth and invasion, and tumor growth through the post-transcriptional regulation of the novel targets NRAS and VEGF-A. The expression of MIR9 was found to be elevated in tobacco users, non-users as compared to tobacco users, but the result was insignificant. The deregulated expression pattern of different microRNAs could further be exploited in the clinical settings as a better differential diagnostic prognostic marker, but these findings need to be validated in a larger cohort of patients. Moreover, these microRNAs have been found to contribute in various solid tumors. Hence, they can be exploited in future as a non-invasive biomarker for the identification of the pre-malignant lesions also. So to conclude, utility of these microRNAs as a potential diagnostic marker for detection of pre-malignant changes can be assessed after validation in a larger sample cohort. It can pave a path towards identifying the high-risk group in tobacco users who are at a greater danger of developing head and neck squamous cell cancers. And microRNAs can be potentially used as a biomarker to detect early-stage diagnosis of oral cancer and lead to the development of microRNA-based cancer treatments and therapies. Thank you.